What if the very thing that you've been avoiding, the sun, wasn't your enemy, but was the most overlooked nutrient? And like everything else I'm coming to question at midlife, I believe the science was wrong. We were misled. I spent decades in IT, sitting under fluorescent lights, sometimes in the basement of the buildings, in data center rooms with no windows, going to work before the sun came up and coming home after the sun went down. And if the sun was up, I put sunglasses on. And oh my goodness, if I went outside, I slathered on sunscreen. I thought I was protecting myself, but what I didn't know is I was cutting off my body's access to one of its most critical energy sources. Today, we're going to set the record straight on sunlight, melanin, and the sunscreen story, and why the sunscreen story might be more of a smoke screen that left us more burned or burned out than protected. Stay with me because I'll give you a practical protocol to use the sun for energy, clarity, and resilience without burning. So here's what we need to cover. There's an old paradigm to avoid the sun, wear sunscreen, and cover up. We need to talk about the truth of melanin, your built-in adaptive firewall, and how sunlight powers circadian rhythm, vitamin D, nitric oxide, and redox balance. Why overprotecting did more harm than good. Then we'll get into a simple protocol to help you reset with the sun. Sunlight isn't just warmth or a tan. It's information for your biology. UVB rays is a small slice of sunlight. It's higher energy, it can burn, but it's also what your skin uses to make vitamin D3. UVA rays are deeper penetration. It's a larger share of sunlight, and it influences skin aging, nitric oxide, and vascular health. Visible light sets mood, hormones, and circadian rhythm, and infrared light supports mitochondrial function and tissue repair. Think of light like Wi-Fi for your cells. Block it completely and the signal drops. I've come to learn a lot more about melanin. It serves a much bigger purpose than just pigment or a tan. It's an adaptive shield. It absorbs UV and reduces DNA damage. When you gradually increase exposure, melanin builds protection while still letting your body harvest the sunlight's benefits. Here's the mistake we made. We'd work all year, indoors, hiding from the sun. We would go take that vacation at the beach and get burned and say, see, the sun is dangerous. No, the sun was never dangerous. But the absence of training, the absence of exposure to the sun left us vulnerable. Just like strength training for muscles, your skin needs gradual, consistent exposure to build melanin resilience. So why should busy professionals care about sunlight? Well, it drives your core KPIs. We need sunlight for our circadian rhythm. Morning sunlight to your eyes sets your internal clock. That one signal controls cortisol timing, melatonin release, alertness, and even your appetite. And if you're crashing midday or wired all night, you don't have a willpower problem, you have a light problem. So for those of you who go to work before the sun comes up or comes back after the sun goes down, or you're wearing sunglasses, that message is for you. Your skin plus UVB rays plus your body heat equals vitamin D3. Yes, you can supplement, but D is fat soluble. It hides in the fat cells. It also depends on other things like your magnesium level. So the sun's version comes with circadian alignment that pills just can't replace. UVA exposure helps release nitric oxide in your skin, relaxing blood vessels and supporting blood pressure. That afternoon walk outside isn't just steps, it's vascular fuel. And sunlight trains your redox system. A little oxidative stress from light actually signals your body to upgrade antioxidant defenses. Without that training, your system weakens, leaving you foggy and inflamed. In the 1970s and 80s, dermatology told us avoid sun, use sunscreen, and wear sunglasses. The billion-dollar sunscreen industry flourished, but we missed a critical truth. Sunscreens blocked UVB, which prevented vitamin D production, far more UVA, causing deeper DNA damage. Sunglasses blocked morning light, cues to the eyes, which scrambled our circadian rhythms. And windows filtered out UV, but not blue light. So we lived in a constant mismatch. We confused avoiding sunburn with building health. This was the smoke screen. And if you haven't watched the video that I produced on my other channel about how the science has been wrong on more than one thing, you can check that out here. Sometimes I am just shocked at how much I followed the science, the recommendations, the guidelines of the day, and those have all been proven wrong and even harmful. You see, I was a big sunglass wearer. I wore them constantly because I thought I was protecting my eyes, preventing sun damage, and preventing wrinkles. But you know, those first few minutes of morning light hitting the eyes are crucial for circadian rhythm, and without that signal, your hormones drift. Even just 3 minutes of unfiltered morning light can recalibrate your system. Probably something every working professional should know on their way to work. Let natural light hit your eyes and your skin. That is how you will anchor your circadian rhythm. To get a little bit of sun in the afternoon is great for some midday fuel, helps with cognition, and then, an afternoon anchor. Go for a short walk outside. This supports glucose regulation and it's going to help you sleep better. Of course, we need to consider smart protection. Use hats if necessary. You can use UPF clothing. You can use a mineral sunscreen if you need a sunscreen. Avoid toxic chemicals on our skin. Our skin is our largest organ, so you could choose a zinc or a titanium-based sunscreen. Never burn. Build gradually. Use protection only when needed. If you've lived decades under artificial light, here's how to redox your system. Move your work outside whenever possible. Add some zone 2 cardio to improve mitochondrial electron flow. Support cofactors with magnesium, B vitamins, and CoQ10. You can also use sauna and cold plunges to retrain redox resilience. Prioritize sleep in sync with the light-dark cycles. I remember when I read The 5-Minute Body by Tim Ferriss years ago, and I thought he was crazy when he said, if you live in a cold weather climate, you need to get outside in the winter and allow yourself to be cold. And since then, I went on to study a lot of Wim Hof's work with cold plunges. And then I started studying detoxification, and I understood that in order to build up resilience in your body needs to be flexible. I started doing hot and cold showers before I ever learned about Wim Hof, and then I started doing cold plunges. Then I learned about Dr. Jack Kruse, and I understand now our body was not designed to live at a consistent 70 degrees all year round, especially if we live in the northern latitudes. We need to be flexible. We need to be able to adapt to cold and to heat. So I can honestly say that my husband and I have used our air conditioning much less the last 2 years, and we are not heating the house as much. We are letting our body adapt. We go outdoors in the winter, in the cold. I have moved as much of my work outdoors as I can, and it is making a difference in cognition and how I feel. I used to say you can't out-exercise a bad diet. Now I know that you can't supplement your way out of a light deficiency. We have to live in sync with nature. I know I hear people say I burn easily, so just work gradually. Start with a few minutes a day, cover up at first, build slowly. I found it interesting and logical, and I'm a very logical person, when I heard Dr. Jack Kruse say that by taking sunlight into our eyes, we will produce melanin because you're telling the brain that there's sun. But if we're putting sunglasses on, which I always did, you're telling the brain that there's no sun. And so we're not going to release as much melanin. Just by not wearing sunglasses, I ditched my sunglasses 2 years ago, and I continue to get tanner. I'm building up my melanin because I'm no longer wearing sunglasses. I don't cover up, and I spend as much time outdoors as possible. If you work indoors, try to find a porch, a balcony, someplace where we can get outside. If you can take your computer and work outside, that's great. And even cloudy days count. So if you haven't met me before, I'm a former systems engineer turned health strategist. I lived in server rooms and under artificial light, and I always wore sunglasses outdoors. I left the fast-paced world of IT and purchased a wellness spa. That was the first place that I began asking, if vitamin D is so important, why are we blocking the very source of it? Now, after moving my office outdoors, I feel more energetic and focused than ever. That's not coincidence, it's biology. Your business has KPIs, and so does your body. energy, focus, sleep, resilience. They're powered by light. And if your KPIs are lagging, you can learn more about my system optimization protocol or book a one-on-one strategy call with me. Let's reboot your biology, starting with the most underrated nutrient of all, sunlight.